You're listening to Living Free, your podcast for a life full of freedom and magic. I'm your host, Tanja Hirsch, and I hope that every time you listen, you feel a little bit more inspired to follow your intuition and to create a life beyond your wildest dreams. Welcome back to the Living Free podcast. Actually, the last episode of the Living Free podcast, because I am rebranding the podcast into Soul Naked beginning of next year. So this is the last episode of this era of Living Free, which will always be a part of my soul. But yeah, something new wants to be birthed through me. So I'm renaming and rebranding my podcast into Soul Naked on the 1st of January. And yeah, it will be even deeper, even more undressed, even more about embodied healing and sacred sensuality and where to start. 2022 has been a wild and crazy ride for most of us, and I'm sitting here in the jungle of Costa Rica. We just finished the embodied feminine leadership training. It has been out of this world, mind-blowing, life-changing, transformative. So much trauma has been released, so much remembrance, so much healing has happened. These women blew my mind, and the team was amazing. So I'm still integrating everything that has happened in these last few days and this last month that I've been traveling. So if you hear the river in the back and animals, I'm sitting outside in the jungle. Might not be the best voice quality, but as you know, it's all about the content and the soul, the essence of the sharing. So in this episode, I'm sharing some of my lessons of 2022. I haven't done my full integration process yet. I'm always doing it the day before I guide my closing ceremony, that you can still join if you feel like you want to close this year with integrity to move into the new year as a new canvas with the integrated lessons, so you don't repeat your patterns over and over again, but you see the blessings even in the most dark moments where you thought everyone is against you, the universe is against you. Then this is a beautiful opportunity to do this in a sacred container in sisterhood. I will guide you through a sacred process that I've been doing for many, many years. Maybe you've already joined one of my closing ceremonies. It's my favorite ceremony of the year. But I just wanted to share a few lessons that are already clear before I close this Living Free container. And it's been a crazy month. As you know, if you followed me on social media, I've been on a really intense, life-changing, mind-blowing retreat myself. I went on an Ayuhuasca retreat where we did Temazcal and Bufo and Cambo and Ayahuasca, and it is, I can't even start sharing about this because it's still, I still receive downloads from this journey, and I'm forever changed through this process. I became clear on so many things that I'm not ready to share yet, but I might share when the time is ripe and the lessons are really grounded and integrated, which they are not right now, so I don't feel called to share them. But after this, I've been in this magical portal in Tulum where it really felt like I've been sucked into a vortex. I met the most aligned soul family people. They popped up out of nowhere. For the first time in my life, I had the sense of community where I really felt held and seen and appreciated in my essence, and it was such a magical, beautiful time, and felt like a golden wave that carries me through divinity and magic, and it was beyond words, and I will forever carry these days in my heart. And I wrote a little letter for 2022 that I will share with you, that brings the essence of my learnings of this crazy year that has honestly felt like a never-ending Ayahuasca ceremony. I shared a lot about this here in my podcast. The first 6 months have been a huge dark hole for me, where I've been trapped in a loop of trauma healing and releasing, and where I went back to the root essence of all of my sufferings, basically, of my anxious attachment style, of still a lack of self-worth and self-love, the fear of abandonment, of judgment, of rejection. I went deep into the lineage of my father, this deep loneliness, and it all came from the same root that I really went really deep right in. And I'm going to read this to you so you can hear what this year has all been about. And after, I will share a few lessons that I've learned this year that, will forever change who I am and what I came here to do. And the words that came through in this letter to 2022, they came through yesterday when I was taking a naked dip in the river, and then I sat down on a rock to just be in the sun, to warm up, because it's been really cold for me. I'm not used to these temperatures anymore. I'm pretty sure it's warm for some people, but for me it's freezing. And while I was sitting in the sun looking at the river, I just remembered the truth of my soul and who I really am. And I think I cried for like 20 minutes, and I really received this deep remembrance that I already understood and got glimpses of, but I just felt this deep, deep remembrance of my own divinity, that the same force that makes my heart beat and the river flow and the stones and the leaves and the flowers blossom is within me and within you and within everyone. And I always understood that, and I had like little glimpses of it, but I really felt that force within me. And I think I cried because it felt so clear, and I realized how many years I didn't remember, and I forgot how divine we truly are, and that we have this creative force inside of us that can create everything, even life. So I invite you to grab a cup of tea or cacao and just listen to these words, and I hope they inspire you to also write a letter to 2022, what it has brought you, what the essence of it was. Because I really believe if we take this time to integrate the year, and I'm not saying I'm there yet, I haven't done the full integration process, this was like one tiny piece that came through. It is so essential for our growth and for our expansion, and to really step into our purpose and to not repeat the old patterns that don't serve us over and over, that we integrate the blessings and the lessons, because they both hold so many gems and so much wisdom for us to carry. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to read this letter that might not be perfectly in grammar, but that comes from my soul. Oh, 2022, you've taught me more than all of my 33 years on this beautiful planet combined. What began with a deep trauma healing journey into my first months and years of life that I couldn't understand until I saw the ripples in my reality after coming out on the other side. My codependency, my lack of self-worth and self-love, my fear of abandonment, judgment, and rejection, my anxious attachment style, and this deep loneliness all came from the same root, the false truth of separation from love. You made me face, heal, and embrace the parts of me that I've been running away from my whole life. You've uplifted this false identity, and in the moment I thought, I cannot handle it any longer. You've reminded me that I am part of nature, and beyond that, that I am part of this divine force that creates all of the beauty in this world. The same power that makes rivers flow and flowers blossom. You helped me realign my body, mind, heart, and soul to the frequency of love and divinity. You've cracked my heart open over and over again. You made me fall onto my knees and surrender all of me and who I thought I was, until I had no other chance but to see, no other choice but to see and remember the true beauty of my soul. 2022, you made my inner masculine rise and create a beautiful divine union with my wild feminine. You taught me to detach my worth from people, numbers, and circumstances. You made me a badass, intuitive, wise, powerful, heart-centered leader. You taught me the beauty of duality and how to hold it all, especially the darkness. This is where I found my true power. Thank you for ripping away everything and everyone in my life that I gave away my power so freely in the past. I couldn't understand it in a moment. I thought you were against me, but I can see it clearly now. The dots connected and it makes perfect sense. Thank you for reminding me of my truth, my power and divinity. I am in awe and deeply grateful to be in this body, this life, and to ripple this embodied wisdom out into the world. May my light shine out a remembrance to every single soul I meet, so they can shed the layers around their naked soul too, and use this light to change the world. A world we were all so deeply longing to grow up in. It starts with us, so we can bring heaven back to earth and live in harmony with each other and nature. 2022, you brought up my biggest existential fears around money, death, boundaries, and lack. You've taught me to shower and nurture my inner girl with all the unconditional love she always deserved, to create a safe and warm home for her within my heart. 2022, you showed me that no matter the story and circumstances we grow up in or choose to stay stuck in, we can always remember this little flame of strength from within and turn it into an erupting volcano by claiming our truth, by saying no more, not this. I deserve and desire more, and I will create this reality no matter how long I will have to walk in the flames of my desires. I choose truth and love now and always. 2022, thank you for showing me my true desire and my feminine power. Thank you for reminding me of my deepest longing for divine union and to be a mom. Thank you for reconnecting me with the spirit of my daughter. I can't wait to meet her and to be her mommy. I also can't wait to meet her daddy. I can feel him so close already. Thank you for the clarity of who I'm here to serve and taking off this thick layer of responsibility and lack, fear and doubt that was blocking me in the past to see the truth of who I truly am. Thank you for allowing me to grow roots and to create the life I've always dreamed about and never believed was possible. This is what I wrote in awe to 2022. And now I'm sharing some of the lessons that I've learned this year, and I feel it's just a tiny glimpse because I'm still processing and integrating so much. But what really really landed in my body is this, like I already shared, this remembrance of my divinity that I understood in the past, but I never really felt on an everyday basis. And now I feel like, I don't even know if I can describe it with words, but I feel so connected to both channels, to the earth and the universe. I feel like I understand so much now, and it makes perfect sense why all the things in my life had to happen, also why I chose to stay in isolation and this healing loop for 14 months to remember that my adventurous wild soul needs community, needs unicorns like me, and that I also love to travel. As you might know, I started traveling when I was 1 year old with my grandparents in their caravan, and this is such a huge part of my soul and my being, to travel and to have this crazy adventurous life. And before I came on this trip, my intuition told me to set up a team. It didn't make sense because I'm still far from being like a rich woman from the numbers, but I just felt this calling to set up a team, and I hired 4 women to work with me, and it makes so much sense now because I'm continuing this life. This is not just a trip. This has brought back the remembrance and the truth of how I want to live my life. And this requires a team behind my back that, does all the things so I can share my magic with the world and not get caught up in the technical things and all the things that are not my zone of genius. And another thing that I learned in this year is that if life strips away people and things and circumstances, even if it feels like death and even if it feels unbearable and like you can't handle it and you think the whole world is against you, and I've had many, many moments of this when the safest job in the world that I worked so hard for, and I thought I'm going to be that teacher for my passions, handcraft and cooking for the rest of my life. People would have killed for this position. When my body shut down and I wasn't able to do this anymore, I thought the world is against me, but in reality my soul was pushing me towards my purpose. But I couldn't see it in a moment because of this thick layer of fear and doubt, and I didn't trust myself, I didn't trust life, I didn't trust the universe that there's a higher calling in this. So my ego, my human mind was forcing to hold on, and I shared this image before that I felt like I'm holding onto a cliff and my fingers are already bleeding, but I still couldn't let go because this was this false sense of safety that was holding on to this false sense of safety, because in reality safety can only come from within. And I really learned this in these last few years, and especially in this year. If life strips away people, and I've had a few months in this trauma healing loop where I didn't have anyone to reach out to because either my friends were going through something really intense themselves or because the relationship crumbled and I felt like this is not an aligned relationship anymore. And I met myself really, really deep in this, and I couldn't understand why I had to go through this on my own. But this was actually the birth of my inner masculine. We all hold inner masculine and inner feminine. And my inner masculine was still very tiny. My feminine was pretty big, but my masculine couldn't hold her. And by not having anyone to hold me in my deepest pain and trauma and emotions, my inner masculine rose from the ashes, and he finally met me there. He could hold me, and this made me an even more powerful healer and space holder because I can hold space. Like the one-on-one sessions I have since then are mind-blowing, and it all makes sense now. But in the moment, I really thought I can't handle it any longer. And sometimes life feels like that everything is crumbling and we don't understand it and we want to hold on even if it's uncomfortable. We know what to expect and how it feels like, and even if it's not healthy, it feels better than the unknown because the ego, that's like death for the ego. But I want to invite you to remember that there's always a higher purpose in that, and that you can trust if life strips away people and things, that in the end it will always make sense, and to lean into the discomfort and in the nothingness, into the void of trusting and knowing, just deciding that this has a purpose. In the deepest pain, that's where you can find your power. This is where you remember your truth. This was big for me. And also, that integrity is such a huge piece, a huge core value of mine that I was probably not 100% embodying myself, and also not, accepting in others. And I learned this through my last relationship, that people can tell you all the things and promise you all the things they will do, but it's really the words that matter, and really the integrity and their actions with their words that show you who they truly are. And we can get so blinded by words, but really listen, but also observe and feel if people are really into integrity with their words. And there's a lot of people out there that promise and preach, but they don't embody it, and they don't don't take action on what they're saying. And this is something I won't accept anymore. That's not in alignment with me anymore. Since my masculine is rising, I realized that I've outsourced so many things that I can give to myself now, and suddenly some relationships and things and even the way I'm living is not in alignment anymore, or the way I was living. Another thing that I learned is to really, 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 really appreciate your own presence. I don't know about you, but I always wanted to be appreciated and valued because I didn't have that in my family, and even with my friends I always felt like a burden, or not with everyone, but I still hang out with people that didn't really appreciate my presence. And when I really found the divinity in me and found my worth and the love inside of me, and I saw the gem that I am and the preciousness and the gift that I bring, just being in my presence, and that meant being with all of me, all the parts that I've been running away from my whole life, being in my biggest pain and holding me there and loving me in those places. That's what allowed me to now have these amazing soul connections that are in alignment, but it required me to be in the not knowing if they exist, because life stripped away a lot of people in these last few years. I've lost almost all of my friends on this journey, and also the connection to my grandparents. And this was painful. This was a huge grieving process of letting go of that version of myself that I also liked. I had a great life before I came here. And only by letting her go, I could come back into the truth and the true alignment of who I am and how I want to live my life and relate to other people. And the moment I came out of my Ayuhuasca ceremony, they just popped out of nowhere, like these deep soul remembrance connections where you're just on the same frequency and you say, I love you already after a few hours of spending time together. These connections that feel deeper than some of my 20-year-old relationships, that I really felt appreciated and valued and seen, but I needed to learn to be that for myself first. And that was a huge learning. And I want to invite you to reflect on that too. Where do you spend time with people where your presence is not valued? And I'm working with so many women in my work that have the same issue, that if we don't go to the root, why we accept these behaviors and these relationships, we will continue to bring it in the new year and into the rest of your life. But to get really honest, who do you want to be in your relationships? How do you want to feel? What changes need to be done? Where can you communicate what you need, what you desire? And if people choose to not give you that, where do you need to step back? Who is maybe draining your energy? Like, there's so many things to reflect on, but to become aware that your presence is a gift. You're a gem with unique gifts and unique talents and unique light that you shouldn't give away freely, and don't be available for everyone. I used to be available for everyone because I also felt responsible, because I felt like a burden. I didn't want to make anyone feel like a burden, so I felt like I have to text back immediately to everyone and I have to be available for everyone. And I really learned to be in my own energy and to respect my needs and my boundaries and my desires, and to operate from that space and not from a people-pleasing space of, I don't want them to feel bad, I feel responsible of how they feel if I don't expect, but to have loving boundaries. And people really appreciate that and respect that, because they know it's true. If you say yes, they know you mean it. If you say no, they know you mean it. They don't, you don't want someone to say yes to you if they mean no, just to please you. You want authenticity and truth. So this is a gift that you can give to people. And also something that I learned is to be happy for others and to celebrate myself and others. I was so good at chasing the next goal and chasing the next goal that I couldn't really see what I've already achieved, and to always chase the next thing. And if someone was bigger than me or had the things that I desired in the past, that always almost felt like an aching, like a pain. And now I learned to celebrate that, even if I don't have it yet, to be so happy for them, because it's beautiful to see them happy and to also see it as an inspiration and not like a, like something, like a lack mentality, something that I don't have, but something that I see is possible. If I see a loving relationship in the past, I couldn't even look at happy couples because it made me realize how much lack of love I was feeling and how much I wanted a man in my life. And now I see couples and I tear up because I see how beautiful a divine union can be between a man and a woman if both are connected to the divinity. So even in your business, I grew up when I was a teacher where women didn't share their work with me because they had this mentality of it was hard for me, so it has to be hard for you too. And this never felt aligned for me. And I really learned to celebrate other women's successes or other people's successes. And I invite you to open your mindset, maybe you're already living it, maybe this is also something you didn't see when you grew up, to create this life and to ripple this way of being out into the world of celebrating each other's successes and being happy for each other. And also, if something feels out of alignment, don't be afraid to change your mind. Like I thought I grounded this year. I've stayed 14 months in French Polynesia. I really grew roots and I connected to the land. I healed my stuff. I sit with all of me, even when it felt unbearable. I thought I wanted to be in that place forever. I got a cat. I really, really tried to settle, but then my soul is really clear that my work has to be shared around the world, and I will keep Morea as a base. And I'm also already excited to come back to my little temple that I created in Morea. I'm super excited to be back there and to have my routine and to ground, but I also realized my soul wants to travel and my soul wants to share and connect. And so next year I'm going to travel a lot. I'm going to Hawaii. The volcano islands are calling me big time in February, and in Tulum and March I'm going to be back in Tulum for a whole month. I'm also going to host a retreat with one of the shamans for women, all about feminine power and magic. So if you want more info, send me a private message. And then, I will go where my soul is calling me. Colombia is calling me, Guatemala is calling me. And then I will be back for around 2 months. And then I will go to Europe for the first time in almost 2 years. And as you know, I live on the feminine pole of the earth, Morea, and my soul, because this last 1.5 years have all been about healing the masculine. The last 10, 15 years of my healing journey were all about healing the feminine, where my core roots and traumas, my core pain came from. And through the initiation of the feminine, my masculine could rise. And now I feel called to go to Egypt because that's the masculine pole where the pyramids are. And I'm sure I'm going to go there. I won't spend too much time in Germany. That's one of the countries I don't really feel connected to, even though that's where I was born and raised. But I will definitely be there for a bit. And so even though I thought I want to settle and I want to, ground, which I did and I needed for my healing, I changed my mind and I realized this is not my truth anymore, and I want to give you permission to do the same. Just because you thought at one point you wanted something, either it's your job, your relationship, you have permission to change that. Always, 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 always. And also I feel I transitioned from being a mom in relationships or being a mentor for my man into being a lover and really being in my feminine without neediness, but really, having this divine union inside of me that feels safe to surrender and to trust and to open and to see the divinity in man and the beauty and the gifts they bring to this world, where I had really deep-rooted trust issues and fears of being judged. And there was a lot in my father lineage. Even on this trip, I saw deers everywhere. Deer is my last name in German, Hirsch. It's my father lineage. And when it's more integrated, I will share more about it. But it's been a lot from my father's side that I healed in the last few weeks and that I'm still processing. And also to move from a mom to a mentor in my business. I used to bring all these patterns into my business. And in the last 1.5 years, I really learned to be a powerful space holder for women to feel safe, to open to their deepest vulnerability and expression and truth, and to heal the parts of themselves, to integrate the parts that they've been running away from their whole lives. And it was really beautiful to witness, and I've worked with hundreds of women this year, and I can't wait to continue this work. But what became really clear is that I'm not here for everyone, and you are not too. And I'm here for the women, and this is going to be my mission next year and probably for the rest of my life. I realized I'm not here for women that are not ready to see the truth, to not do the work, to not do the changes, to stay in fear and doubt. I'm here for the ones that fully embrace their purpose and their path as a medicine woman, as a healer, as an artist, as a mentor. Because we all are. We as women, we all have healing powers. But it's your choice. If you choose this path in this lifetime, and I'm sure if you listened until now, you know this flame inside of you that knows that you're here for more. When I was a school teacher, I always felt this voice inside of me that said, you're wasting your time, you're here for more. But I didn't trust. And I'm here for the women that fully want to be in service for this planet, that want to share their gifts and their light, no matter what it takes, to do the healing work that blocks you from already living it, to, I always see like your purpose is tapping on your shoulder and saying, you're here for more. And you're like, yeah, I'm ready. I want my purpose to come to me. And then I'm here to turn your shoulder around and to open your heart and to fully embrace your medicine, to really devote your life to being in service for this planet and to make a business out of that, because this is nothing you should give away freely. I was a healer all my life, but I used this gift for the wrong people, especially for my friends and partners. They were not ready. They were projecting their shit onto me, and I thought there's something wrong about me. And now I can use this as a gift to really help you if you are a woman that maybe also wants to transition in your business from being, maybe you already share about nutrition and about the things that brought you on this journey, but you feel there's more. You want to teach about sexuality, about life force, about healing, about your art, whatever your gifts are. This is what I'm supporting you with, to fully embrace your light and to shed the layers around your light that prevent you from really showing up fully in your power. Because we all have these layers of doubt and fear around us, and it's not about all releasing them all, but to learn how to walk with the fear, to do it with the fear, and to step into your power even with fear, even if you're terrified of being rejected, to fail, whatever it is. I mean, it's big to transition from a normal job or from even nutrition that is kind of mainstream, to outing yourself and embracing yourself fully as a medicine woman. That's huge. And I'm here to create a safe, loving container where you can feel safe and held in your journey every step of the way. And I'm currently creating, or it's already created with my team, maybe you've seen it already, in January 13th until 15th, I collected 9 powerful, feminine, heart-centered leaders, some of the biggest of the industry, that will share their magic, their essence, in a powerful workshop in 1 weekend. Make sure to sign up. It's completely free. I will guide an opening and a closing celebration, and we have amazing, activating, powerful workshops to really awaken your feminine power. This is the name, Awaken Your Feminine Power. And my intention behind this is that you remember this flame inside of you, this feminine power that's lingering and waiting, longing for you to fully embrace it. And if you feel like, wow, this is something I really want to step into, I'm done with playing small, I'm done with hiding, I'm done with bridging between two worlds to hide my magic from the people that don't get it. I really want to be here to be in service. I want to use this lifetime to fully embrace my purpose and not be on my deathbed one day and asking like, oh shit, what was that? Like, what if? If you really want to open your heart fully to be seen in your magic and to share your magic, to make this world a better place, to shine your light, that it ripples a remembrance of healing into every single person you meet, then I have a very special upcoming offering for you. It's going to be a 4-month mastermind called Soul-led. I will share more about it in the immersion, Awaken Your Feminine Power. But if you feel this is calling your name and I'm speaking directly to you, this is for a small group of women, and this is only for you. I'm only accepting women that are fully committed to devote their lives, to share their light, and to fully embrace it, no matter what it takes, to shed all the layers, to do the uncomfortable work to get you there, all while being in a safe container to be held with everything that comes up. So we're going to start in February. It's going to be 4 months, and we will end with a 3-day in-person retreat. And if you already know, oh my God, this is me, I want to be part of this, send me a private message, because I'm offering a very special mystery discount. If you already know you want to be in it, 2 women already signed up, then just send me a message, and the official early bird price will be announced during the immersion, but it's going to be more than the price I'm offering before New Year's Eve, or before I share more info about it. So let me know if you're one of the souls inside, if you're fully ready to embrace and to enhance your role as a leader, as a healer, if you want to lead your life and your business from the heart and not allow your trauma, your conditioning, your fear to hold half of your heart back and to stay in fear and if you're really here to be in service and to embrace your purpose, then this is for you. And that's it for now. So make sure to join the free immersion in January. I will link everything in the show notes. And excuse my voice. We screamed too much this week. My voice is a little bit rougher than normal. And I can't wait to see you next year. Also, if you feel called to join the closing ceremony on the 30th of December, I will link it in the show notes as well. Come and join us in a sacred, safe container where I guide you through the year so you can really close this year, this wild ride of a year, with integrity and with excitement for the new year to come, so you can really create the reality that you desire in your heart. Sending you so much love, and I see you next year.